Hello and welcome to the VR Untethered podcast, your weekly untethered source of untetheredness that's completely untethered. I'm not Brad Pitt, neither is he, and he's not Josh Holloway, and neither am I. But he is Brad and I'm Josh, so...
We'll take it from there.
Yes, so welcome to our untethered insanity.
Wow, that was a very insane remark. You know, you're usually a lot crazier than that, Josh.
Oh, okay.
Not enough coffee
True.
this morning.
This is actually my second cup.
Which disappeared. Yeah. No wonder you're not feeling the caffeine. It seems to...
It's vanishing as soon as I drink it.
It's virtual coffee.
Yeah.
Cup just disappeared.
Yes. It's the best kind. It's got no calories, too, because the calories just vanish.
Yeah, coffee's not too heavy on calories to begin with. It's the other
stuff.
It is
when you put half a cup of sugar in there.
This is true.
And hot cocoa. And creamer.
No, excuse me. Okay, I'll get over that. No,
okay. Okay, I don't actually put half a cup of sugar in there. Just a couple tablespoons. So.
Wow, really? Tablespoons? I go for the teaspoons. You know, it depends on.
Well, I don't like the flavor of coffee, so I need it completely covered up.
You don't like the flavor of coffee? By the way, I've just pushed the button. There's a coffee hit squad coming out for you now. So when you hear the knock on your door, duck. Uh-oh. And that's our final podcast, folks.
So,
yes,
we have hopefully some highlights for you this week. We have some new releases. We have some upcoming releases, and we have some news that's not fit to print because it's in a video, so it's just not being printed. It probably is fit to print. It's just it's a video. So. Anyways,
yes.
Brad, do you have any highlights?
Actually, I do. My highlights this week, though, don't go back to any game, which is really kind of weird. I was looking at the actual productivity apps this week, and one of the apps that came through, which really caught my interest, was the one that will take a 2-dimensional blueprint and turn it into a 3-dimensional walkthrough. Which has been designed by an architectural firm so that they can do, redesigns and breakouts of office spaces and buildings, and I would imagine any structure, and have you walk through it. And it's going to be used for architects to complete buildings, for real estate agents to do walkthroughs, for refitting environments that are being redone. So I found that to be pretty amazing that they could do that now with a plugin.
And what is this app?
Or the plugin or whatever? I'll look it up for you and I'll see what it was, the last thing that I had actually gotten here. On App Lab. And let's keep going and I'll end up bringing it up. But it does work with... I think it works with a couple of AutoCAD systems that let you, use the plugin and put it in the program. I'll find out before the end of the show so we can put it up there. That one was really fascinating. The fact that Gravity Sketch now works with iPad as well as on the Quest is a move that they've done. I think that's a pretty good way to get into 2D and the 3D space and still be able to draw, sort of good combination. So this week was really more productivity oriented for me. I was looking more into the avatars for the meetings. I met with a few people that were actually interested in virtual reality for business usage.
Nice.
And, these people are amazed. They've tried virtual reality for 3 minutes and, they can see the potential. And then it was like I was discussing with somebody that's refitting oil tankers right now. And I let them know, they're creating a manual. And I asked them why they're not doing it with virtual reality headsets. And
they were probably like, "What?"
no, he said, can you do that now? And I pointed towards Musk, and I pointed towards other using it towards teaching you especially
Right.
dangerous things. And yeah, they're not averse to the idea at all now.
Cool.
So it's really good to see people accepting it on the outside. You know, people that maybe 6 months ago would have looked at me like I grew a fourth eye and not had any clue what I was saying. Actually, seeing, oh, I could see that. You know, so that was kind of interesting to actually see people seeing use for it. You know.
Yep. Well, that sounds like a good highlight.
Yeah, it was. It was very good. It gives me hope for the human
Yes.
race that there are people that will actually understand that this is a growing technology, not a dying one. You know?
Right. Well, my I have the two highlights, I guess. I played or I tried out Simple Theremin on App Lab or SideQuest. I forget which. It sits on App Lab, I believe. And I used to have an actual theremin
I know.
that
That's why I'm
I
smiling.
put together with a I do it yourself kit that I got. It was a Moog brand, so um, and so I know how it's supposed to sound and how it's supposed to play. So I figured I would be a good one to do a review of a theremin app.
Okay. Yeah, there's not going to be many out there that can do a thorough review. Okay.
Yeah, so and it's not bad. It's got the basics of when you get closer to the vertical antenna, the pitch goes up. When you get further away, it goes down. You can alter the waveform between sine, saw, square, etc. On a real one, you can also adjust the brightness of it, just to make it brighter, make it darker. And when you're approaching the horizontal antenna, the volume goes down. When the wave volume goes up, so the basics are right. However,
Okay.
you can hear the steps between each note. It's not a smooth curve.
That's not good.
So it's not a smooth slide. If you've ever heard the Beach Boys song "The Good Vibrations," it's got a
Right.
theremin, and it goes like, it's a smooth slide between all the pitches. This is more like, and I can't do it as fast as a computer can, but it's more like, it's more like a really, really, really fast arpeggio that, if you have defective hearing, would sound like a smooth slide, but you can hear the very, very brief steps in between each note.
And that's just a completely anti-theremin. You know, I'm thinking this is like if they get the two of them in the same room, they'll blow up. You know, it's the antimatter to the no, that's not good. You don't want to hear
No,
that. That's the whole point of it, is the
right,
smooth.
right. And I tried it with the hand tracking as well as the controllers. With the controllers, it's just a ball that's like located right here that
Okay.
moves, back and forth from the antennas. Um, and with the hand tracking, I couldn't quite tell exactly what part of the hand it was tracking from. It could have been still that ball on
Right.
the palm. Um, but with a real theremin, this is how you would do an arpeggio. Just those small movements. That's gonna go, just
Right.
that. On this, you can't get that fine-grained control. I don't
Uh,
know if it's because they're not incorporating the hand tracking to affect the notes quite as accurately, or if it's because of the limitations of hand tracking itself. It could be either. It could be both. I don't know. But overall, it was a good effort. It's just not as realistic as I was hoping.
Well, you said it's called simple theremin, right?
Yeah.
So I guess it's sort of like simple guitar, one string,
Yeah.
and
Boom, 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 boom.
you got it. There you go. So
Rubber band guitar. Boom.
keep that simple in mind if you're looking at those things in the future. By the way,
there are one-string guitars in real life that you can get like 4 octaves of notes from.
Well, yeah, if you're good, then you know what you're doing for sure.
Yes.
But you have to know what you're doing.
Yes. You have to have like a metal tube on the hand that's up here. It's just so that you can control where the note is.
Exactly. Yeah. It's and a capo to be able to bring down or bring up.
So that's if you have a multiple string one, but yeah, I mean,
but
a couple might help with one string. I don't know, but it's like with one I'm just thinking of is you usually you've got like a metal tube here so that you can adjust freely without injuring yourself. Yeah.
Right. It's sort of the way that they do the Hawaiian guitar, the one that lays in your lap also. Yeah, whenever you're playing anything like that metal rod is very good for protecting the bone from coming out from the flesh while you're doing it.
Yeah. So anyways, and I also, and this will be a segue into the new releases, had a highlight of playing one of the new releases, which is Cosmodread. Look at my background. This is from the game.
Cosmodread.
Yes. So, this is made by the developer behind Dread Halls. Probably the scariest horror game in VR. Still, despite the fact that it was made by one person, and it's how many years old now?
I know, but it's your lack of agency that really makes the game that scary.
Yeah. So Dread Halls, you have zero agency. All you can do is run and hide, but not for too long, because then the shadow will appear and try to get you. And die.
And die again.
And every now and then, you can escape.
That's pretty rare, but okay. It is every now and then.
Yes. And it's got a story, but the story is more lore that you uncover. It's not like it's a narrative game where you are going through a story. It's just the story that you uncover is the background.
Okay, so like 98%, right? 98% of all the other VR games, you find out why you're here.
Right, and Cosmodread shares some elements with that. It also is a procedural game, so the layout and the arrangement of the monsters and what monsters are different each time you play. And it too is not a heavy narrative-driven game. All of the story aspects is lore that you uncover as you go on. So, with that in mind, it's also not nearly as scary as Dread Halls is, because you have agency, and you're not just wandering the halls with nothing to do but pick locks and watch out for the monsters. You have actual tasks that you are doing, and you have weapons to kill the monsters with.
So we've left Dread Halls. We were earthbound with Dread Halls. I mean, not to mention the fact that you're now in space with guns and agency. So
you start off your very first run not with a gun but a crossbow.
Oh, even better.
Yeah. And there are various grabbable items in the game, and you have an inventory system where you can hold up to 10 items in your inventory. All of the items have a material component to them, like it's plastic, it's chemical, it's metal, it's electronics, which comes in important because there is a fabricator. As you go through the game and you discover data drives and you put them into a data drive reader, you unlock a blueprint. You go to the fabricator, you can then print what you got the blueprint for, but only if you have all the necessary materials. So it might require 2 plastics, 1 metal, and 3 energy.
Okay. Right.
So,
Gotcha.
So inventory management involved there. It's a crafting system. And you can print weapons, you can print armor, you can print distractors to make the enemy chase after a noisemaker instead of you. The environment and the enemies react to the light. They don't like it. So some of the areas you'll want to plug a battery into the battery holder on the wall, turn the switch, get the lights back on. But that means fewer resources to be able to make stuff with, because some of the more powerful things require energy, which only comes from batteries.
Okay, so it's a management system. I got you.
Yeah.
You can't just. I got it.
Yes.
You're limited in what you can do, so
Yes.
that enhances the dread of the game.
Yes. Yes. And you always have to keep an eye on your oxygen meter because it is continually depleting. So you have to make sure that any time you see an oxygen pump, you need to pick it up, put it in your inventory, or go, oops, I need to use it now.
Okay. We're getting a little crazy here now.
Yeah.
know.
As far as I can tell, there is no health regen, no healing, no health regeneration. Well, once you are hurt, you remain hurt.
Right, I think they give you like 5 chances to make it through, and I think you have 5 injuries you can suffer and death.
That sounds about right, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was reading. I think it was 5. They said, but they can happen pretty quickly, so it might seem like 1 or 2.
And if you're anything like a wolf in VR, who I watched, who did not monitor his oxygen very well, he every now and then be going, "What's attacking me? Here's my oxygen," and he just got 2 hits to his health because of that.
I hate the oxygen thing. It's just bringing me back to Miner 2049er, which, if you remember, was one of those platform games where you had to have the guy get from the top to the bottom without running out of oxygen. It was sort of a Donkey Kong type thing, but with oxygen.
Right.
It was terrible. It really was. And you'd watch your guy turning blue as he was getting further from the oxygen. It was crazy stuff. But it's amazing that we're still doing the same thing, but now in virtual reality.
This is the story is you are approaching a ship as is going into a jump, warp, teleport, wormhole, whatever you want to call it, jump.
Okay.
You are dragged along in its wake. They take you aboard because your ship is damaged, stupidly damaged, and they put you back together. But then something happens, and the ship is all broken apart and all that, and so things are not working right. You have a space suit on, I would imagine, because there are big gaping holes to the void of space in the ship that are open.
It's good to have a suit.
You are obviously wearing a spacesuit, and it doesn't have a very good oxygen supply because it too is damaged. So you have to keep replenishing it. the reasoning why. You know.
Okay, so it's not just lore. There's also the crap that they throw at you to make it a little more difficult to make it from here to
Yes.
there. Okay, that's
Yeah.
good. Yeah. And I like the fact that it's procedural. You said this one's procedurally generated as
Yeah.
well. So
Yeah.
every time you're on the ship, something else is going to screw up.
Well, not necessarily something else that screws up. It's a different layout.
Right.
You know, so like one run I got like I don't know 30 minutes in before I encountered any enemies. Another run I walk out from the starting area and there's a sentry turret attacking me. I'm like, no.
Okay, that's procedurally generated. I guess they really.
So, and as you go along, all of the blueprints that you unlock, you, you retain. And as you die, as you unlock things, you unlock perks to be able to, say, go in with more health, but less inventory space. Or you have a faster walking speed, but the enemies do more damage, or whatever. Kind of like in Swords of Gargantua when you go into the red level jumps.
Right. I remember running through there with you that time when we were gathering the first round of laser swords. That was kind of
Yeah,
fun.
yeah. So it's a roguelike game. You retain things that you earn, but you start over each time.
Right.
And you can, once you unlock a weapon, as in you have successfully fabricated it, it becomes available as a starting weapon for you as well. So instead of starting with a crossbow, you can start with a shotgun.
Okay, yeah, that could be a handy thing to have.
Yeah, so it's got replay value because it can be a little bit different each time, and you can get to the point where you can customize it and say, you know what, I'm going to go for a super hard run.
Gotcha.
I'm going to have inventory space of 1. One hit kills from the monsters, or who knows? I don't know what all of the perks are, but
Right, but at least it has the replayability to find out, which is great.
yeah,
I was looking at picking it up yesterday. I just haven't gotten around to it, but that seemed to be one that would capture my interest,
yeah. And Michael is currently addicted to it.
5 stars. He
He
already
can't play
rated.
anything else right now.
Well, there's no more dinosaurs for him to run away from. I guess he needs the necromorph. So,
Mhm.
and at least it's not cell
It's
shading.
funny you should mention that because some aspect of this kind of remind me of, well, obviously Doom, but some aspects of it also kind of remind me of what I've seen uh, of Dead Space. I've never played Dead Space. I'm just going off of what I have seen and read about it.
Right.
Some aspects of it kind of remind me of that. So,
Well, I was going to say some aspects of it also remind me of Red Matter. So it's,
mm,
once again, where as long as they could use the mechanics in a way that's interesting and the game itself can maintain
your interest, yeah.
exactly. It's fine. You can't ask much more. It's a $15
Right.
game. It's
Yeah.
basically a go priced game. So
I got it for about $10 because I had an Oculus 30 discount to apply to it.
I've never gotten the Oculus 30. I've gotten $10. I've never gotten the Oculus 30. I guess I can't buy more games again for a while, and then they'll send me something else.
Maybe. But yeah, my discount would have ended today. I was like, well, I know Cosmodread's coming out. I don't know what the price is, but no matter what the price is, I'll get 30% off of it. I'm good with that.
Right. Well, usually if it's a percentage, I go for the higher priced games. But
Right, but there was no higher price game really coming out right now that I really wanted. So
yeah, I know. It seems like they sort of died down on the AAA games for a bit. But
yeah, although they are coming still in the future. So
everything is eventual. I know.
yes,
Everything is eventual.
so everything is actual,
Not everything is.
matter of factual.
Uh, wait,
That
you're
is
gonna have
factual.
dun, 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 dun. I didn't
Zippity
realize
doo
you were doing
dah,
the
zippity
musical.
day. No. So, speaking of zippity doo dah, zippity day, let's move on to Zombieland Headshot Fever.
I can't tell whether I like it or not, honestly.
Yeah, I'm not sure of my opinion of it either, except that it's one that I'm not buying. Because I
Same.
don't. I, I know you might be going, well, you just got Cosmodread. What do you have against zombie games? Well, I don't know. Zombie games are not something that I am really into. You know, I don't have Saints and Sinners. I don't have the other Walking Dead. No, no, um, I had Drop Dead. I think it was right where you're like the uh, infected with the zombie virus, but you're holding it at bay, and you got to, I played that a little bit because, but overall, I don't really care for zombie games too much. It's not my cup of tea.
I like them, but you have to be in the mood for them. You really do. I mean,
Oh
I
yeah,
have Arizona Sunshine, I have Saints and Sinners, I have all of them. And originally, they were the only shooters that you had.
right.
So,
That's probably one of the reasons why I had Drop Dead.
exactly. So, at the beginning, if you wanted to kill something, it was going to be already dead. For whatever reason, they chose that. Um, but I do like them occasionally. But like I said, you have to be in the mood because it's pretty repetitive. And but once again, it's a good shooter. Get the
Yeah.
two guys out. But I do not like Zombieland. I don't like the look of it. I don't like the graphics. I don't see anything new that's been added other than the fact that it's pure headshot and as quick as you can.
And it has VR Rosie's art and motion capture.
And that's what I was really the most interested in. And that doesn't seem to be doing what it should be doing. I
Yeah.
don't know. I haven't played it, but
Well,
from
she
the trailer,
was probably limited by the constraints of what of the style they wanted, you know.
well, I'm
But
sure there's polygon usage, and I'm sure that there's all sorts of things that had to be accommodated that we
right,
wouldn't have to take into account for artwork. So,
right. So, but yeah, it's out as well. It is 1999. um, Based on my personal opinion, I would reverse the prices on these two new releases. You know?
it seems like they're just grabbing at prices. I think they're going to end up at that $15 to $20 mark on App Lab for a while
Yeah.
before they jump to the 25. And
Well, well, well. This is on the official store, but yeah, yeah.
eventually it's going to be hard to start telling them apart.
True. um, Moving on. This is an update, and it's something I should have mentioned in my highlight as well. Synthwriters had their Adrenaline update. This is a new DLC music pack involving the Offspring and a new experience like they did with Muse. I have not tried the experience yet, but so that's what we saw in the teaser trailer with the giant the skull head and all that. So the songs are fun. I jumped in with the Play with the Devs event, and the only room that was available for me to to join into was the room that was playing all the songs on master difficulty,
right.
which Beat Saber terms is like expert plus. Songs I'd never played before. So, but still, um, I had to unplug my headphones for a little bit so my wife could hear the song and then be transported back to the 90s and whatnot. So
Okay, so you enjoyed it.
there were people using the voice chat and singing along with the songs. At one point, It sounded more like a bad karaoke session than it did as in the writer's game.
Okay. That seems not so great, I gotta say.
No, yeah, it's still fun. It's just they were off key. That's all.
Okay. Well, okay. But it was fun, so that's the whole key.
Yeah. Yep. And moving on to productivity apps. Meet in VR is out on the store. It's another virtual meeting and collaboration space app.
Until the world has these headsets as a fixture, I don't know. I can't. I don't even know what to say about them anymore. I'm glad they're working on them. I know everybody is.
Yeah, it's always good to have choices, but I'm not sure what this one brings to the table that sets it apart. So,
Right.
So, moving on. This is the last one of last week's new releases, but I'm not mentioning it here because we didn't mention anything last week. Flow Weaver.
Yes, we did mention we mentioned it the week before it
Right.
had actually come out, and then we
Right.
saw the graphics, and we had said that the graphics looked good, but the idea of sitting was a little strange. No.
Yeah. Now, Flow Weaver looks really cool. It seems like it's got a great story, but it's very short on the actual gameplay. I believe, according to reports that I've heard, it's about an hour of actual gameplay, with all of the dialogue and the cinematics or whatever. It comes closer to hour and a half or hour 45 or something like that. But as far as the actual gameplay and the puzzle solving, it's only about an hour. So.
Right.
But it does end on a note that implies that there might be a sequel, because it's kind of a cliffhanger. At least that's the way I'm interpreting it. It could be a "oh no, you're doomed, you're dead" sort of ending too, but I'm interpreting it as a cliffhanger.
Okay. That's a nice one. I'll take that.
So, it's $19.99. I don't know that I'd pay $19.99 for an app that's only got an hour of gameplay and is probably not terribly replayable.
Even if it was, an hour is just no. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Too much.
Yeah.
Too much.
So, but speaking of App Lab, and I'm not going to mention all the games that have come out, unlike that last time we mentioned a whole bunch of them. I just wanted to highlight that App Lab is here in force now.
Right.
I'm just going to mention a couple. Feel free to go to applab.game with applabdb, any of the applab tracking websites, or join our Discord, and we have a channel that keeps tabs on the updates as well.
Correct.
So, to the top has come to applab. That it's been rejected from the official store for a long while.
A few times.
And yeah, a few times. And yet it's a very popular, from my understanding, the climbing style game that's been around for a while. So, and now it's in App Lab. I've watched a little bit of it, and I can... It looks like one that would not be for me, but only because, and I don't know if it feels this way when we're actually playing it, but it looks like you have a laser coming off of your hand, and then you like teleport your hand out to the object, and then it pulls you towards it, or whatever. It's kind of what it looks like. I don't know if it feels that way,
But that's
or
what it
not.
looks
Right.
exactly like, and that was exactly the impression I got. Was like, okay, I'm going to reach to this, and then it's going to zap me in there, and I don't like it. It does not look
Yeah.
like the mechanics are something I would enjoy.
Right.
Now, I might be completely wrong, and when you purchase it, and you'll let me know whether or not it was good. I can't.
When Michael purchased it.
You mean he hasn't yet? Oh wow. What time is it in Canada?
Uh,
I I don't know. I have to say that the artwork for the intro looks like Rocket Man. It looks very cool. It's like, that retro style. And I was thinking, I'm going to buy it just from that. And then I watched the trailer and it was like, no, not this time. I
yeah.
don't want my hands to precede me. I would rather do the climb if I
You
was
want
going to.
them to come with you,
Yes,
not get ahead of you.
exactly. I get ahead of myself all the time. My hands don't need to do the same thing. So,
Yeah. So yeah, it um I know it's a very popular game, but yeah, and the graphics are not as nice looking as they are in the climb, but as we both know, that doesn't necessarily mean anything for the gameplay.
right. Like I
Gameplay
said,
to a large extent, not entirely, but to a large extent, trumps graphics. You
it's
know,
nice when they all come together.
yes,
Yeah,
it is awesome when you have the gameplay and the graphics. Yes. Um, so, but yeah. So this one for me looks like a pass, but if it's a game that you've been interested in, hey, it has an app lab now. We'll go get it.
exactly.
So yeah.
Exactly.
Another one that came to App Lab that's been on SideQuest and Steam for a while is Operation Serpens. This is an arcade style shooter. Um, and I forget, but I think is this I forget if it's a duck and cover one, like the original Crisis Brigade was or not. I forget, but I think it might be, or a Time Crisis style gameplay where you gotta duck and cover and then it moves you. I forget which it is, but it's been a popular one as well. It, and it's got a fast-paced action game, arcade feel. It's challenging without being impossible. Guns, grenades, flashbangs, hidden items, headshots, climbing, riot shields. It's got a
Okay.
single-player campaign story,
Right. Right.
zombie survival mode.
It's got everything, folks, and it
Yeah,
makes you
and it's
breakfast.
got haptics support as well as 90 hertz support.
90 does hurts.
Yeah.
Um, you didn't mention control room or
I have
control.
not mentioned that yet. No. If you want to mention it, go ahead. I said I was only mentioning a couple. Just
Well,
top.
to me, it just seemed like a very interesting when you said
Yeah,
productivity. The fact
yeah.
that you can now have an alternate wireless solution. I mean,
Mhm.
okay, I haven't played with it yet, but considering this is
Yeah,
something pretty
yeah,
major.
yeah. I haven't tried it yet myself, but from my understanding, is kind of a virtual desktop slash immersed alternative.
Right, exactly. That's exactly what it looks like, and it's all going to depend on how well it functions with.
Right.
But it seems to have Steam integration that's sort of, I don't know. It's when I was reading about it, it seemed to me that Valve might have been involved here, and Steam might have been involved in this creation as well. So we'll have to
Okay.
see. But
Okay. But
yeah,
yeah, maybe we'll try it out over this next week, and then we can talk about it more in depth next week.
probably would help as opposed to just spouting what
Yes.
our thoughts are.
Yeah. I don't know much about it, but it's a good title.
They look good to me, man. Pictures are great.
Yes. So upcoming titles. We have Starcaller coming out on Steam on April 2nd and Quest and Rift soon after.
Yeah, of course,
Whether
because
that means the next week, whether that means a couple days after. We don't know exactly what soon
Quarter
after.
4. I know.
Yeah.
We have, well, soon after just means when they get the bugs worked out and enough patches so that it's functioning, they'll get it out to us.
Yep. So Star Caller is a puzzle game where you are basically restoring a temple, and you have to race against the clock to restore the temple and solve puzzles in order to restore the temple, because we all know temples are not restored by just rebuilding. You have to actually solve puzzles.
Of course. That's always been the law of
Yes.
nature.
Yes. And you have to complete the final ritual at the end, which is sending as many falling star fragments as possible back to the night sky. So,
I'm
that's
moved.
Star Caller.
I'm moved. Again. I'm actually more interested in Carly and the Reaper Man, to be honest.
Yep.
That one looks like it's more fun.
That is coming out this next month as well. I don't think we have a specific date, but we know it's supposed to be in April.
Right. I think the beginning of April too. So I'm hoping.
Yeah. This, if you have been living under a rock, is an asymmetric VR and PC title. You have one person in a flat screen playing Carly, and the other person in VR playing the Reaper Man, and you work together to solve the puzzles and navigate through the platformer. So,
which is great. I mean, it's sort of like what they tried with Covert and the Go, and was not really functional.
Yeah. I still haven't completed
nobody
Covert because the only person I could do it with was my wife, and she,
Right. I know. If you have a two-player game and the other player doesn't want to play, it's kind of rough to finish it. I know.
Yeah, and I know that I could have done it networked. I could have, put a shout out, say, "Hey, anybody want to be the mobile phone version or half of this for me? Here's the code." But then we have to set up a Discord call or some other sort of voice chat, or so yeah. It's hard to work that way.
Yeah, it is. I was going to say that makes it tough, but I really am looking for. It looks like it could be a lot of fun. So
yeah, and I think that there's also a single player mode on this too, but I'm not sure.
That
Carly and the Reaper Man, I believe.
Right, that would make sense, like I said, because otherwise, if you don't find the second person, you have a game that's never going to be played. So
exactly, that's the same reason why I bought, but I've never played. Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes, because most of the people that I would want to play with don't want to play long games like that.
Right. I know. There's other games I wanted to be able to play with other people. Some people can only take VR for a few minutes. Some people, everybody has a different tolerance and different ratio. So
part of the reason also in my case is my son, if he gets at all stressed, he gets flustered and he can't find things, even if they're right next to him, staring him right in the face. Right. So he would never be able to find how to disable or what order to cut the wires in the manual when I'm saying, I've got 10 seconds. I've got 9 seconds. Hurry.
Right. You don't want to give your son a heart attack.
No.
No, not in virtual reality. If you had a real bomb, that's one thing. But, in virtual reality,
right.
No stress.
Yeah. So, moving on to all the news that's fit to print. Or something like that. Space Force is using Oculus Quest for VR satellite repair training. So they can recreate the actual environment, recreate all the interfaces, so it's more realistic. The only thing is the lack of zero gravity, obviously, but
I was going to say they used to do that in pools and submersibles.
underwater, right?
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know how they're going to do this unless they put them on wires and just sort of yank.
Well, this is more building the muscle memory and is
Right.
more cost effective than setting up a pool with full scale replicas.
I'm not saying no. It's just that I do think that zero gravity is a major part of this.
Well, yeah, but
I know, but
true. So, but that is very cool. It just goes to show, hey, all the uses that this technology is good for, besides just playing games, which is mostly what we have been talking about so far.
Right. Well, that's what most people that we're talking to are experiencing, and then there's we're using it in real life as well, but that's less. We see it's growing, but the games themselves are dynamic. So that's why we're here.
Yes. Our next bit of news is Apple wants AR to be recordable and intelligently annotated for later viewers.
Sort of like Recorder on Google.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I just pulled up the article here. Apple has previously researched ways of recording VRs and playing back those recordings, or recording AR and playing that back on 2D devices. Since investigated recording AR audio, it's already included VR editing in Final Cut Pro. That I did not know. And it's continuing to explore ways, including in this newly revealed patent application, computer-generated reality recorder, and it talks about how to record AR, VR, 360-degree experiences. And the problems are, not only is there a lot of data to record from just one person, you might also have more than one person there. If it's a multiplayer session, you got 2, 3, 4, 10 perspectives to be recorded.
Right. Yeah, that doesn't work. I'm sure they'll have to start with.
Yeah. I don't know if this is. I don't think they have the solution all the way worked out yet. But the other patent that they revealed is they want to be able to hide sensitive objects. So providing restrictions in computer-generated reality recordings. So just like the videos where the people's faces are blurred because you don't want to give away their identity because they didn't sign a waiver saying you're free to use it or whatever. You need to be able to do that in VR and AR as well, because what if whoever is in the experience with you doesn't agree to be on the stream or on a recording,
Well, I was going to say the whole idea of recording in AR and then saving the recordings and the privacy concerns. I mean, as it is now, people don't trust having a smart device in their house that has a camera or even has a microphone. So we're going to now record them visually as well as audio and add the... I think that's going to take a little while before people are ready to accept that.
Yeah. But this goes to show that Apple has a better handle on the importance of privacy with all that stuff than Facebook does.
Of course.
I know Facebook has recently given lip service saying, hey, we need to focus more on that, but it remains to be seen whether they actually will have a bigger focus on that or not.
I don't believe it. At this point, I've seen nothing to indicate that would happen right up to, hey, Facebook. So I don't see it happening. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not holding my breath about it either, but it's nice that they did acknowledge it and give lip service. It remains to be seen how well they live up to that lip service. Apple is going to be much more expensive with their hardware, but they will have a better privacy solution. I am sure about that.
Which actually, when it comes to VR and AR, is something that's going to be very, very serious to consider.
Yes. So, moving on. Nintendo partners with Niantic again to bring Pikmin AR later this year, and other AR games based on Nintendo franchises as well. The Pikmin is, I believe, similar to Pokemon, but is different characters and different world or whatever. So
exactly.
So it'll be a similar game, I am sure. Capture them, evolve them, train them, trade,
Right.
all
Exactly.
that stuff. So
next generation, next generation, next generation.
Yes.
Of course, they can just keep progressing. So
right. So, The Exorcist Legion VR is getting Quest 2 graphics update and 90 hertz update.
I came this close to purchasing it when it was on sale this week. It's just everybody we know that's played this game has put on a pair of diapers before they continue after like the first or second encounter with a demon. So I don't know that I really want to put myself through that.
Well, go out to CVS first. You get a box of adult diapers.
I don't know, man. That's just
and then go play it. Or just wear brown pants. That'll work too.
Okay. Brown pants does work, but no. I'm not going to do it yet. I really need to know someone that's finished it and has come through mentally unchallenged. It seems like a real scary one. I don't know anybody that's gone through the whole 5 levels, and I don't know anybody that's done the whole 5 levels. Everybody, no matter how by the time they get to the 3rd demon, is like, I'm out.
I think Michael has gone all the way through, but I'm not sure.
I don't think so. I think he said he stops at the 4th, but we can find out later.
Yeah.
Or if he wants to call in now,
Valve HMD strap patent displays a wireless option as well as a wired option for the headset. So that's, kind of obvious news that they're looking at wireless, of course.
Right. The only one that's not announcing wireless is Sony, which is the crazy one, but
Right. And the reason why I didn't mention all of the new App Lab releases this week is because App Lab has reached 100 titles in less than 2 months.
I know. It's crazy. It really is.
Yes.
We're going to have people contact us, the ones that start purchasing games in App Lab, and let us know some of their reviews as well, because 100 games in 2 weeks is a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just...
Yes. Wow. So if you try an App Lab game and you want to let us know what you think of it, if you think we should play it and then should talk about it on our channel, we have these things down there that are called comments. We will read them.
Use them. We do read them, and we'd be more than happy to respond. Yep. Especially if you find a good one. In 100, there's got to be a few that must be really good.
Yeah. Like to the top. Sorry. Yeah. Our last bit of, not a last bit of news, but the last one I wrote down, I forgot to write down another one. The Facebook wrist controller teaser video. This is basically coming out of their acquisition of the Mile Band and what was the name of the lab? It began with a C.
I know it's
Cognitive or something like that.
It was the band that,
yeah, and it's a band that detects your muscle movements, your micro muscle movements. So when you intend to click a finger, it detects that as I'm going to click a finger.
Correct.
So and just add so that the ability for it to be tracked in a six-stop way, is an excellent controller basis.
We're getting there,
Yeah,
yeah. Well, and you saw the new Sony controllers that they've come out with
yeah,
that are also seem to be wrist-based, and also that seems to be where we're headed now,
yeah,
wrist-based.
and that's why I, I look at Google sometimes and I go, because they had Project Solely,
They put
that micro radar that
they,
could could detect the difference between this and this.
I know, and now they're using it in the Nest in order to be able to make it play or stop and record your breathing at night while you sleep. It's
Yeah, I'm like, that would have made the perfect AR and VR controller.
for something
Yeah,
like Cardboard or
yeah,
Daydream or
yeah.
Tango or
I
let's not
mean,
get into Google's.
I would be happy to wear a wristband and not have to worry about dropping controllers or,
Right. Everybody
and
would.
have full hand tracking because of the soy. I mean, that would be awesome.
Right. But they're going to sell you three more iterations before they get to that. So,
Well, as far as I know, there hasn't been any. I mean, that
the only
they're
ones that
incorporating it in things like the Nest and whatnot, but I haven't seen anything about it being used at all for, a hand controller, like a
no,
worn thing to detect that way. It's all in a device detecting upwards, like a Leap Motion.
I don't know. They might be using it in orthotics. Well, I mean, not orthotic, prosthetics at this point, but they're not using it in what I would consider to be devices that everybody uses every day, which could
Right,
benefit from it. So
right,
let's
right.
just move on because when we talk about what Google doesn't bring to the table after
I
they've
know, I
developed
know,
it.
I know. Um, the other thing I was going to mention is we got a trailer for Warhammer Tempest Fall Siege of Sigmar, which was a very well done trailer, I thought, and it shows a hint at what some of the gameplay might be like. So, it's looking pretty cool. What do you think of that? How did you
I
watch it?
I thought I did watch it. I thought it looked pretty cool. Is it coming to the Quest natively, or is that just going to sit on the PC and you have to access?
It's one of the ones that is supposed to be, I believe, supposed to be coming to the Quest as well.
Right.
I don't know if it's going to be a concurrent release or if it's going to be PC first and then Quest later. I'm not sure,
I,
but I believe it's supposed to be Quest as well.
I remember when Warhammer Battle System was released and they talked about the new Warhammer and they mentioned the PC release, but they didn't mention the definitive Quest release, but there was
Yeah,
no Quest 2 at the time either, I think. So,
yeah, but I believe it's supposed to be coming for the Quest 2 as well, but I'm not entirely. Yes, VR Focus says Age of Sigmar Tempest Fall is now scheduled to launch this summer for Oculus Quest and PC VR headsets.
okay. So there
So,
you go. Yeah, I'm
yeah,
looking forward to it then because it looks a lot better than Battle Sister. I'll be honest with you.
yeah,
It really does.
I I agree, and it's a different studio as well, I believe.
Right.
Um, so it's always interesting when two different studios take on the same or have similar franchise. Like with Walking Dead, one of the games was critical acclaim, and the other game was critically panned.
Right. Exactly. Well, it's sort of like taking similar games like Hyper Dash and Solaris. And
Well, yeah, I mean those are similar games, but it's not part of the same franchise. But yeah, so kind of the same idea. Yeah, you're
right,
right.
they took the same game and one person made it into a fantastic game and the other ones made you suffer through it. So yes,
Right,
it's in that
right.
respect.
So, but yeah, I was always more intrigued by the idea of Tempest Fall than I was by the idea of Battle Sisters.
Right, me
The
too.
Battle Sisters is. It's a first-person shooter.
It's a mindless shooter. I was going to say, check
Yeah,
your brain if it's mindless.
and it doesn't look like to me a particularly interesting first-person shooter.
I was going to say, if you own first-person shooters that you like, I don't think this is going to make your library any better. That's my
But the Tempest Fall
does
is a
look
little
like.
bit different. It's got the magic, the gesture-based stuff, and so yes, I know we have that with Wizards, Dark Times, and all that, but we don't have as many of those as we do shooters.
Correct. Oh God, yes. No, there's nothing as much as there is shooters, except puzzle games and beat games. It was funny because I had met somebody yesterday that had just gotten the Quest 2, and I asked what games he was playing, and he goes, "I don't know. It's one where like these blocks come at you and there's a beach." And I said to him, "Oh yeah, okay. Well, that only describes about 90% of the games on the Quest 2, so you're gonna have to be a little more spell up." Yeah, people are still coming in though for Beat Saber. It's amazing. They're still coming in for Beat Saber.
I mean, personally, I prefer Synth Riders. It's a little bit more original, and I feel most of the songs are better mapped, and the multiplayer on Synth Riders is so much better than the multiplayer on Beat Saber. On Beat Saber, you can see the other players, but you can't talk to them. All you can do is.
I don't get it. I know. Synth Riders is definitely taken there, but because they were on the scene later, they're not as adopted as readily.
And one thing Synth Riders has going for it, in my opinion, that beats the Beat Saber out of the water, is custom songs are integrated into Synth Riders. It's an official thing that you can put a custom song, a custom map, a custom track environment,
Right.
they call them stages, all those are official. There's no hacking or modding or illegal alteration of the APK needed. It's all built in. Yeah.
I know. It's I like Synth Riders as well. But once again, like I said, it came sort of out of the blue. It was a dark horse, and it's working its way up. More people are finding it, but a lot of people are just still hooked into the Beat Saber thing.
Yep. And I feel that it does a better job of getting your whole body involved instead of just your arms. And Beat Saber, so much of the time, is just here, and you don't even have to move at all to avoid any of the walls.
Right.
The only ones where you need to move are the ones where you have to duck under.
Exactly.
And most of the maps don't have any of those. It seems like,
I know, and avoiding the walls is just turn your shoulder and you can avoid the wall. I know.
Just tilting your head.
I know. But those are the older games. That's why I'm looking forward to the newer ones that keep taking advantage, and the older ones that keep growing and adding stuff to them. So
I mean, the Synth Riders also spices up the multiplayer with the power-ups.
True, and they also have some variations at the others, like the 20s music that they have. The synth 20s is great. Right. I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
So I like their musical choices. They are better for dancing as well. So
yes.
And it's not Dance Central.
Yeah.
You got it, girl.
Just remember, don't throw your phone because it'll get cracked, and it'll stay cracked for the rest of the game.
Oh, God.
So, anyways, on that note, that brings us to the end of today's episode. So, if you made it this far, go grab yourself some water and drink it because you probably need to be hydrated after this marathon.
Yes. And hit subscribe, hit like, hit your friend, take their finger, hit subscribe, hit like, and
exactly. So this time it's not Josh being violent instead of not Brad.
There you go.
So thank you for watching. Have a great rest of your week. Bye.
Bye.